It's your second time here, right? You're
yes,
in 2011.
and it's much music that brings me back here, which is amazing. And,
Cool.
you know, the support that they have, not just here, but internationally, in the U.S., you know, they've got a really big footprint out there. So
Cool.
It's nice to be able to be a part of the family out here in Toronto.
You are part of the family. Thanks for coming back.
Of course.
Before we open it up to the Canadian media, Joe Jonas on stage asked you a bit about your music, but I want to ask about All Eyes on Me, the Tupac Shakur film
Who's
that you're
seen
part
it?
of. It just came
If you
out.
haven't seen it, you don't get to ask me anything about it. How about that? Next question.
Why though was it a project you were excited to be a part of? Because I know you've cited Tupac as an influence on your music before.
Well, I'm a 90s inspired kid, you know. I grew up watching a lot of Janet, listening to a lot of Babyface, rocking out to Boys to Men, Blackstreet, even Fiona Apple, Tricky, you know. So to be a part of a project like this that is all about honoring the legacy that is this incredible artist seemed like the absolute thing I wanted to do, and I was excited like anyone would be to be a part of something that would highlight his successes in the industry. Yeah, even like the record that you mentioned, that was a record that just came out that I did with Babyface and that Prince wrote on. So for me, it's like I'm somebody who I feel like I want to be someone in the industry because a lot of my fans are pretty young, so they're not as necessarily educated on the music that I grew up listening to that influenced me, that I don't see enough of in modern music. I don't see enough musicianship, I don't see enough melodic choruses, I don't see enough structure, I don't see enough bands on stage. You know, there's I just want to bring back timeless artist appreciation.
Yeah. And did you played Jada Pinkett, Jada
Yes.
Pinkett Smith?
Yes.
She went to school with Tupac. Did you talk to her at all?
I reached out to her before we started filming, and I've said that in a million interviews. The second I found out, I had reached out to Willow, and I reached out to Caleb, her brother, and my business partner reached out to Miguel, her partner. So, and I know that the production had reached out a bunch, and then we finally spoke after I had wrapped. Unfortunately, and she had been nothing but supportive. Even like talking to her, I think it was like when I was in Chicago, like a week before the movie came out. So
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Questions from the floor. Hey.
Hi. You are.
Where are you?
Right there.
You're a singer, dancer, and actress. You're a triple threat in the industry. Does it in some way hold you back? People think that maybe that if you could do so many different things, you want to box you into one specific sort of genre?
I think that's why it's so great that I like to be the kind of artist that highlights the people that I grew up listening to. So if you look at Janet or Tupac, for instance, this is somebody who was a multi-hyphenate, and I think that that's something that should definitely be embraced. I think it was more embraced, I think, in the olden days with the Josephine Bakers and Sammy Davises and Frank Sinatras and even Marilyn Monroe's. You know, you saw a lot more of that happening in the industry, and even in the 90s you saw kind of a surge of that happening. But I think it's less common today, which is unfortunate because I think that so many actors are so talented and so many music artists are so talented. I think that I would love to see them just express themselves in every way that they have at their fingertips, you know what I mean? Thank you very much.
Multi-hyphenate. Another question. Yeah, hey.
Hi, David Friend from the Canadian Press.
Hi, David from the Canadian Press.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Awesome. I was wondering if you could expand a little bit on the pressures of playing someone who's still alive. I mean, lots of actors have the opportunity to play characters.
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, I want to be somebody in the industry that has integrity with everything that I do, with my music, even if it sells no records, with my films, even if no one sees them. I want to be somebody who's known to do everything in their power to bring the highest level of respect I can to every character I play, whether fictional or non-fictional, but definitely playing somebody who is still alive. I wanted to make sure that I reached out at a year and a half ago, so that the person that I would be playing would be protected. So I would do that with any project and just make sure that that's right. I think the pressure now is to make sure people understand that this movie is about honoring the artist, the late Tupac Shakur, and it's about honoring the greats in music that have come before us, that have really planted the way for African American artists and more diversity in Hollywood. You know, and this is an homage, and I hope that people understand that that's what this film is, to have a better understanding of the man and to have appreciation of him and to show him love. In a lot of ways, a lot of what I've been doing since Vampire Diaries, that's been my focus, is to pay homage to great artists like George Benson and Sly and the Family Stone and Babyface and maybe people that aren't familiar with these artists, and try and find ways to bring elements of their music into my own so that people can have a newfound appreciation for them. So I hope that, because my audience is pretty young, I'm trying to find the balance between being like pop culture and much music and hey, take a picture in fashion and all of that, but also understanding the importance of where we've been, where we're at now, and where I'm hoping our culture will go.
Is there an ultimate goal you want to see to play?
I would say Tammy Terrell, who I've been working and developing that for a while. So y'all don't know nothing about Tammy Terrell.
I think Rudy's got the mic there. Yeah.
Hi, how you doing? Rudy Blair, Entertainment Media.
Where are you?
Way in the corner over here.
Hey, are those dreads?
Yes, they are.
I love them. Twists.
The question that was just asked, actually, I was going to ask that question, but to go even further than that, though, why is it, and you kind of talked about it a bit, but why is it so important for you, for these kids to understand old school music? I know for me as an old school guy who listens to that stuff, I hear a lot of the stuff that goes on today that came from there, and when you explain to the younger kids, they go, who's that? What's that? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Is that a way to bridge those two, new school and old school, together for you?
I don't know why it is, to be honest. Maybe I felt that my journey as an artist was a bit more contrived than I wanted it to be. When I first started, I was this kid making beats in my mom's one-bedroom apartment with no money. And then from there, I was working with will.i.am and then went on tour. And then I booked Vampire Diaries after that. And then I got in a label system that was promoting a kind of music that was a bit surface for me and didn't feel like it penetrated the inner workings of what I wanted to be and what I was hoping for myself as an artist. And that carried on for a few years. And so I wanted to, after Vampire Diaries ended and after I had left Interscope, I wanted to kind of get back to the source of my own soul and energy and what made me tick. So that's kind of why I was up at Paisley Park so much, and that's why I've been working with Babyface for years now, because I'm like, well, let me get to who I really am as an artist. Let me find my inspiration. I get that everyone's over here doing this and that, and I'm getting pressure to look like this or sound like this, and I know that I'm kind of going against the grain here and taking a risk, but I think for about maybe 6-7 years, I was in a system where I just didn't feel like why I became an artist was being fulfilled. So I think I just needed to get back down to the basics of why I love music in the first place. And then I feel like I'm going to be able to expand into maybe a different artist. But for now, I needed to fall in love with music again. I needed to fall in love with acting again. I needed to remember why I was an artist, what I can bring to the industry. Because no one's going to. It's not just about me. Like, who cares? What am I trying to represent, right, in this industry? So having a platform like this is great, and I hope that my young girls will kind of find what makes them tick and what inspires them and go after that with full force, regardless of what their friends are doing or what's on the radio necessarily or what they're seeing on TV or on the cover of magazines. That it really depends on what pulls you and what motivates you, and then within that you'll find your way.
It's cool you're bringing your young fans from the Vampire Diaries over to find new content. It's cool.
Yeah, they're good girls, you know what I mean? They're good kids.
We got time for one more quick one from the floor, and then we'll wrap it up. I think somebody had the mic there.
I love your hair.
Thank you so
Man,
much.
y'all got some pretty people in Toronto. What is going on? I need to move. I need to move.
These are,
It only took me 2 hours to get here from Atlanta, by the way, so I don't know if y'all are ready for more of me, but I'm going to just up at these offices a little bit more.
We're ready.
So you were talking a lot about how the 90s inspired your music and yourself as an artist, how did it inspire your fashion? I'm from South.ca, by the way.
Girl, you see this?
Yes, I see it.
I'm giving you Gaultier all day.
Yes.
You know, when you think about the 90s, right, and you think about women's fashion, the first thing I think about is Madonna and the cone bras. I think of androgyny being accepted. I see this like full femme power pop, this surge of the Oprahs and the Naomi Campbells and these like fierce women and the Janets and Paula Abduls, and you see women in pop taking on a more, I guess, aggressive role, a more kind of empowered position in their music, a more independent stance, and you see it reflected in the fashion. I grew up listening to the 90s, even though I was pretty young. Kids were listening to more Britney Spears and NSYNC, and I was over here listening to this. But I really think that there was something about the 90s in terms of fashion, from the way that Thierry Mugler cut his clothes to the way Gianni had these powerful suits for women, that really inspired me, and I want to be somebody that is like a powerful woman. I want to play empowered characters, empowered black women in music and in film and TV and diversity, and I want to be this for it. So I feel like I want to reflect that in fashion, and it's the 90s. I don't know, I even though it's a disco album, I still did it with Babyface.
Yes.
So I don't know what, that's the era that I fell in love with music, and then from there it's going to be interesting to see what evolves. But it's always great to study the greats before us, and no matter what you do, whether you're a writer, whether you're an artist, you know, whether you're a journalist or even a music programmer, a DJ, it's always great to study the people that came before you and say what made them so great, and find different ways throughout your art to honor them.
Amazing, thank you.
Thank you guys so much for
Thanks
having
for
me.
coming.